What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Boss Talk. I'm your host, Deanna, entrepreneur and business coach. And today I have one of my very good friends from the 412, that's Pittsburgh, if you didn't know, Miss Shemaria. I don't want to jack up her last name, so I'm not even going to attempt to say it. But I have known this young lady for a very long time, and she has a quite different business than the people that I'm normally dealing with. And some may say that it is essential. And unfortunately, I didn't have a chance to use her, but hopefully when I have another baby, then I could be able to use her fantastic services. So without further ado, give it up for Miss Shemaria.
Yeah. Hey, everybody. How you guys doing? My name is Shemaria Scharman, but everybody calls me Mimi, except for very old friends who've known me a long time. They still call me Shemaria. But anyway, so I provide birth and postpartum services. And you're going to say to me, okay, birth, postpartum doula, what is that? So a doula is a birth companion. And is someone who comes and is there with you to support you during your birth, after your birth, and even the process of you being pregnant. So you may come and say, hey, you know what? Me and my partner, we're having a baby. This is our first baby. What do we do? So then I would walk you through the process of the best practices and then create a birth plan for you, which would include things like what kinds of things help you to go through the process of birth. So what I mean by that is some people are into music, for example. So if you are into turn up music, you're into India Irie, you're into, gospel music, then I use some of that type of music to help you during the process of your birth, because music is something that's very therapeutic for a lot of people, and for other people, they can't stand music. So instead of music, maybe you're a teacher and you need, you're used to writing on the board. So maybe in colorful marker, we will come up with some sheets of paper or whatever that are like thick,
like poster board or something.
Yeah, that are poster board that'll help you to write some things out, okay? Because that's the way that you learn. So that's the way that you teach. So that's the way you'll receive the services and be able to look up when you're having those really hard pushes and be like, I got this. Oh, okay. I don't want Pitocin, or I do want Pitocin, or I want to be on my side, or you know what? I don't want to be in the bed. I want to be moving and working with a ball or whatever you want. And of course, I'm there to support you and remind you. But some people just need that reminder themselves that, like, wait a minute, I said I didn't want this. So they can look up and they can say, here's my visual, because they're a visual learner. Then other people are tactile learners. So for example, I sometimes will give a mom a comb because maybe she's used to having things like, moving her hands around.
Like a hair comb?
Yes, like a hair comb, a small one. And then you put it in their hand and that gives them the pressure, like acupuncture type of pressure they need.
Okay.
And it just gives them that feeling that, you know what, there's that pressure to help them be able to move through some of the pain, some of the things in your brain. A lot of times pain responses in the brain. So those are just some of the things, some examples of ways that I help to facilitate the birth part of the plan. Postpartum is where my heart is, because I feel that moms and dads and your mother or whoever is going to be there, your support people, oftentimes don't know how to deal with you in that period, because maybe it was not very common when your mom was, having a baby. They didn't really know as much information about it. And I feel like between moms who lose babies, moms who are just struggling with the feeling of, oh my goodness, I'm in the car and all of a sudden, I think I'm going to like go off the bridge. Like, why am I having that thought, right? Like people think, am I going crazy? No, you're not. It's just the synapses in your brain, okay, that sometimes are not all connected properly because your body and your mind, when you have a baby, go through a lot of changes.
Okay. Like mental and
Mental,
emotionally and stuff.
physical, and emotionally. Sometimes you might be crying just randomly. Somebody could say a joke, and instead of laughing, you're crying. And you're like, well, you don't even understand what, you're like, what the heck?
Right.
And it's a little rough because the people around you can sometimes notice things that you don't notice. And sometimes because of your fear, you won't share, like, you know what? I just had this crazy, quote unquote, thought. They're not crazy thoughts. They're not crazy thoughts. Just because you have a thought, even about something happening to the baby, doesn't mean that you are going to do something to the baby. It doesn't mean that anyone else is going to do something to the baby, but the fear itself is real. So I
Yeah.
help you with tools on how to get through that. And then, I've also connected with a lot of services that help if I'm not able to, because that's the thing. Like, I am very good at being the holistic person to help you, but sometimes you might need a psychiatrist. I am not, that is not my role.
It's
Okay.
not your lane. Okay.
Yeah, my role is to say, you know what, maybe it is what you need. So let's get that service in place for you. And I will still be here and support you and baby. And the postpartum part that a lot of parents like is the portion where I am in your home and I am with your baby a few nights a week. Because to have some sleep when you're going through all these other things, listen, I really think honestly we should extend that past the first few weeks. And a lot of parents are starting to really reach out to me past that 6 week, 12 week, 3 month period and be like, my baby's 6 months, but listen, can you just come 2 days a week? Because now I'm really back to work. Now my load is even heavier. Or, hey, I have 2 other kids. Yeah, no, they're jumping all over me. Like, they're jumping all over me. I still have to be the mom. I still have to work. I still got to take care of my husband or,
Right, right.
whatever. How can I be the best version of myself? That's what I provide. I help you be the best version of yourself so that your children can have the best version of you too.
Okay, so they're like almost like a mental health coach as well.
Yes. There's many different pieces that go into it because I would say there's not one exact thing that I do in this role, but I
Right.
make sure that I connect you to your services you would need beyond me. I make sure that you're healthy. I watch for the signs. We're in constant communication. I become like your very good friend at that time with all the skills I need to know, hey, are you okay? Is baby okay? And then that's the other piece. It's not just about mom. It's also about dad.
Mm.
I help dads because if a dad is in the room and wants to be at the birth, I help him with techniques on how he can help mom to be relaxed, to, do the exercises. Dee, tell me, how many hours did you end up laboring at the end of your birth? I mean,
Okay.
sorry, no, wait. How many hours did you end up laboring whenever you reached your 9 months and it was time for you to have your baby?
It was 5.5 hours. I started feeling that around 4 a.m. And then, which I kind of knew it was going to happen because like during the last 3 to 4 months, I was either going to sleep by 4 or waking up at 4. So I was like, this gotta be around the time when she's going to get here. So it
You
was
know what
five.
that's called? You listen to your body. A lot of people don't do that. That
Uh,
was listening to your body to know, okay, some of these are the signs that are showing me when my baby's going to come. Because that happens to a lot of women. They'll be like, oh, I'm up all night, or, I keep waking up at this 2 a.m. And I'm like, well, that'll be an overnight baby. Winning. Because
that's
I'm an overnight
interesting.
person. Yeah.
It's interesting. Okay, I never thought about that, but I do try to stay in tune with my body. But yeah, at the end of the day, it was like 4 something, and then it was like, about like I said, yeah, about nine or
Hmm.
so. Yep, 9:15
Awesome.
around that. Yeah, 5.5 hours, and then I only had to push for 17 minutes.
That's amazing. That means that you had a really responsive team because a lot of times people will have you come in and then like say you're only 2, 3, 4 centimeters and they're trying to get you ready, but then they're like, okay, maybe you need to walk and then maybe you need to do this. And blah, 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 blah. And the reason I say that is when your body is ready, your body is ready. So therefore, you don't really need to do anything but prepare mentally and emotionally and do some things that'll get your body moving. Like that's where I use the ball. And
Oh,
that's where I use some of the other techniques, stretching and different things with a partner. Because I feel then that, is the time where you can just prepare that, okay, my baby's coming. So say out of the 5 hours, 2 of them were spent doing some of the techniques I do. Okay. Then by the time you hit the 2-hour mark, you're almost ready to have your baby. And you're like, okay, I'm ready to listen to some Beyonce and push the baby out. That's it.
right.
you
Wow.
know.
Okay. Yeah. Like, I'm glad I didn't have to do any of that. Like, and I asked for the epidural. I got the
Mhm.
epidural. And they was like, well, Miss Diaz, how soon do you want the epidural? I said, yesterday. As soon as you give it to me, I'm not my mother. We are not finna play those games. You can go ahead and give me the epidural. And I was like, and they strapped it to my back, put it in my back, and they gave me this button. I was like, push it between every so often so you can get this injection. And then, but it'll only give you once every 20 minutes. But I swear I'm laying there like, I said, Lord, please, please. Lord.
But you know what? I tell you what, the people, the women who get the clicker, I feel like it's beneficial because even though you may not get the medicine, the thought that you
It just
pushed
feels
it,
good, right?
it feels good. And you think, okay, it's coming. So it's almost like a placebo effect that like, oh, it's coming, so I'll be okay. And I
Right.
feel like just that push of that button, you could have pushed it 5 times in 2 minutes, but then you might not push it again for 15 minutes. And then you would get that shot, that jolt in between. So I
Mhm.
feel like, I kind of tell people, if we get a good clicker, let's do a clicker
Yeah.
because it's that same kind of sensation as the combs I was telling you about. Just
Yeah.
the thought that I have something in my hand or I have something in my mouth. Like a lot of people, I will say, a lot of people state you're not supposed to eat anything, blah, 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 so many hours before.
Okay.
I am a doula who brings a mint or a lemon head or a something
Okay.
because if you are doing 24 hours of labor,
Ooh,
48, I mean, listen, you did 5 and you're like, whoa. There's women who are there 16 hours. Can you imagine being there 16 hours? And
heck,
then they told you before you got here, you should not eat. And then 16 hours, we're sitting there and you did not eat. Give me a break. No water, no nothing. To
mm,
me, that's called torture.
yeah. No, for real. For real. That sounds like to me. Telling me I can't eat. It's like you might as well be telling me to go kill myself because
Real. It used to be, I mean, the reason that they originally stated that long time ago was kind of because they were trying to determine when you go to push the baby out and all that stuff, what did that have an effect? Could you, end up getting cramps and all these other reasons behind it? And I get that. I get that. But now the research is showing that no, in different parts of the world, they're feeding the women because you've been there a long time, maybe, and say you've been there for 4 hours and you're still not even ready. So why not have a meal and then maybe 3 hours later you have that baby? That meal sometimes, even if it's a small thing, a date, a granola bar, that will give you the energy you need to be like, that little bit of chocolate in there, I'm ready. You know?
a
And then
little
before
boost.
it's a boost. It's a boost. It's a real boost. You know what I mean? Because another thing I notice is a lot of women, once they're doing their breathing and they're like, whatever, their lips get dry.
Yeah.
Okay. What's one little sip of water gonna do?
Right.
What's one little, listen, your body is full of water. It's coming out of you. Like you cannot, I mean, and I know, I may get, censored for this and people might say, you know what, Mimi, you shouldn't say this or that, but this is how I feel. This is the practice I've been doing. I'm in 1,003 births.
Oh, what? Go ahead now. 1,003. That got to be a Guinness Book World Record somewhere.
I wish. But no, I love doing the births and everything like that. I don't do as many now. I do them, but I don't do as many now. I'm doing more of the postpartum work because the work, and I will tell people who are getting into this kind of thing, the birth work is any second of any day of any hour. So I can have somebody and they could be, okay, your date is July 3rd. Okay. So I make sure, hey, I'm not going to go to a barbecue. I'm going to be ready, or I'm going to plan some things, but you're going to come at some point. Guess what? Now you come June 11th and it's my daughter's birthday party. I would have to leave my daughter's birthday party if I planned it that day to be at a birth. So there's a lot of dedication, but it's very rewarding. Whereas the postpartum part is more scheduled in, and it just kind of fits certain other parts of personally my life that I'm doing more of those things now for Mimi's Kinder Connection.
What made you want to go into the business of being a doula?
Well, that is a really good question. I would say that the process of me becoming a doula started when I was very, very young, actually. And a few of my friends that I grew up with, one that was very, very close to me, actually, she found out that she was pregnant when we were like teenagers. And she was really scared and was like, she didn't have a great support system. And it was like, I don't want my aunt there. Like my aunt's just going to yell at me and not be.
Wow, that sounds stressful and toxic.
Yeah, it was super stressful. She was in a very stressful situation as just a young teenage girl. But then to be like, I'm pregnant, that's already going to be a whole lot of extra drama. So then she's like, well, when I have my baby, I want this to be a happy occasion. So she asked me, she said, would you come? And that was the first birth I had ever been to. And I was like, yeah, why not? Like, I'll do it because I love you, enough. And so I did it and I was like, this is kind of dope, right? Like this baby came out and like, wow, I was just.
Did you get to see the baby being born?
I did.
Wow.
I was a teenager and I did. And I was like, this is so dope. And at that point, I was like, this is kind of interesting. And I'm going to see, like, what are you going to do this? And I didn't do it at that point because I went into early education and, became a teacher and all that. But then I got to be at another birth that was very pivotal. And that's where I made the decision. And that was the birth of my sister. My mother had a baby. She had a late bloom child. That's what we call it, but a great blessing. And that was over now 11 years ago. And
wow.
Yes, my sister is 11.
I'm sitting up here counting in my mind. I'm like, wait, did I miss some? Did I miss some? But that was only 11 years ago. Because I'm really sitting up here thinking, like, wait, I don't remember her.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
crazy. I do. Wow. So Shemaria, and I'll say her name because she's just ray of sunshine. I mean, such the sweetest girl. And it's crazy when you are an older sibling watching your younger sibling, who is a girl too, kind of goes up through some of the same things you went through. Right. And you always want better for them. So you're like, you're going to have, and you're going to go to this college, and you're
you doing more than mommy's doing.
You're like, your first period. Oh my God, I got to have her over for a slumber party or, But,
that's so dope.
It's been that experience, having a sister, seeing my mom push out my sister, being there, holding my mom's hand. At that point, she was born on Easter.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it was very, very special at that time. And my mom didn't know that she was pregnant until she was like almost 6 months. So it was literally one of those situations like, I don't know I'm pregnant. She knew when she felt the baby.
Wow. Okay. Well, I appreciate your time. Everybody, thank you so much for tuning in today's episode of Boss Talk. I hope you got something out of this today and maybe a different career path for you. You never know. So,
hey, if you need a class, you reach out because I'm actually a trainer of doulas now.
Listen, like, you better teach it. Teach it, I say. So, But yeah, make sure you leave a comment down below. Tell me how you felt about today's episode. And make sure you tune in next week to the next episode of Boss Talk. And if you would like to be on an episode of Boss Talk, make sure you email me. All my contact information is down below. Or you can just comment, say, hey, I want to be next. And then I'll reach out to you. Other than that, you guys be blessed. And I'll see you on the next episode. Bye.